very warm welcome. In this tutorial I shall assist you with step-by-step instruction to install Ubuntu operating system within Oracle VirtualBox as a guest operating system. Oracle VirtualBox is a cross-platform virtualization application that installs on your existing Intel or AMD-based computers, whether they are running Windows, Mac, Linux or Solaris operating systems. So, let's get started. First and foremost, we need the ISO file of Ubuntu. You shall require downloading the ISO file from the official site. The site address is mentioned within the comments section for your reference. I am using Ubuntu 20.10 in this example, however, you could download ISO images of any version from the Ubuntu website. Once at the site, click the download button to begin the download. I am using Internet Download Manager software to download the file. One can use any other downloading software or use the default download manager of the browser too. Click the Start Download option to start downloading the file. The time taken to download the file shall depend upon your internet speed. Once the software is downloaded, click the Close button. We are now ready to install and configure Ubuntu operating system on our virtual setup, using Oracle VirtualBox software. Start the Oracle VirtualBox application. Click the New option to start with installation of the new virtual machine. In the name field mention the name that you wish. I have entered Ubuntu 20.10. It is advisable to keep the default machine folder path. However, you can use any other path based upon your requirements. From the drop-down box select Linux within the type field option. Similarly select Ubuntu, 64-bit in the version option. For some systems these settings are highlighted automatically. After cross-checking the detail, click the Next button to continue with the installation. At this screen, we need to specify the amount of RAM to be assigned to the virtual machine. This amount of RAM shall be reserved for the Ubuntu operating system. I have assigned 4 GB of RAM, which is sufficient for most of the basic requirements. Let us now create a virtual disk. This serves as the hard disk of the virtual Linux system. The Ubuntu operating system shall be utilizing this disk space to store its files. The recommended file size to be configured is 10 GB. However, one does get the option to change the size in the later screens, so as to suit your requirements. Select the second radio button to create the virtual disk now. Press the Create button to continue with the installation and configuration of the virtual disk. We now select the hard disk type as VDI, known as the VirtualBox disk image. To continue with further configurations, click the Next button. VirtualBox application allows you to choose either a dynamically allocated or fixed-sized disk when creating a new virtual hard disk file. Dynamically allocated disks are faster to create and can grow to larger sizes. Fixed-size disks may be faster to use, but note, they can grow any larger once they fill up. However, there is a provision to convert between the two formats and resize disks, if you like. I recommend using the dynamically allocated option. Select the appropriate radio button and press the Next button to complete the configuration. As I had mentioned previously, we have the final option to modify the disk size. Modify the disk size to suit your requirements. Once the configuration for the virtual disk are completed, select the Create button to finalize the virtual disk. Now that the configuration of virtual hard disk is over, we need to further fine-tune our virtual hardware resources. We need to allocate additional resources such as display and CPU. Click on the Setting button to start allocating the necessary resources. Select the Processors setting from within the System tab. I have allocated 4 CPUs for my Ubuntu operating system that is sufficient for most of the application. Note, I am using relatively a high-end machine with an iCore 78750H processor. Based upon your requirements, these settings can be changed easily as and when desired. Press the OK button to save the changes. Now select the screen setting from within the display setting options. I have allocated the full 128 megabytes of video memory to my Ubuntu operating system. In most of the system even 96 megabytes of video memory shall suffice. You might also want to modify the graphics controller setting and select the option of Box SVGA. You can ignore the error of invalid setting detected. Press the OK button to save the changes. Now that we have configured our hardware, let us start with the actual installation process of the Ubuntu operating system. Select the normal Start from the Start drop-down button to begin with the installation. Select the Ubuntu ISO file using the Browse button. Press the Start button to proceed with the installation. At the GNU Grub screen, press the Enter key to select the default Ubuntu option. Select your language and press the Install Ubuntu button. Select your keyboard layout. Press Continue button to proceed further. At this screen, I suggest selecting the option of installing third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware. Now press Continue button to proceed with the installation. The installation shall now require a clean hard disk to install. Select the option of Erase Disk and Install. Do not worry. It is going to only erase the contents of the 10 GB of virtual hard disk drive that was made previously. Press the Install Now button to continue. Press the Continue button to accept the partition table. Select your current location and press Continue to proceed with the installation. Enter a credentials details to create a new user. Configure a strong password that shall be used during the first login to the Ubuntu software. Once done, press the Continue button to proceed with the further installations. Installation shall now start downloading files from the internet, related to Ubuntu updates and other various softwares. Wait patiently for the installation to complete downloading and configuring the files. Once the installation is complete, click the Restart Now button. This shall restart the system. You might be asked to press Enter to eject the virtual CD, etc. depending upon the version and updates. The system shall now reboot and load the Ubuntu Linux operating system. Press the Enter key once you have entered the password. Note, this is the same password that you created while creating the new user. Your Ubuntu operating system is now installed, configured and ready to use. Thanks for watching my video. If you have liked it, please press the like button. You can also subscribe to my channel to receive the updates. In case you have any queries, please do get in touch with me. My contact details are on the screen and also within the comments section.